Bilal's controlling behaviour is getting very uncomfortable to watch.
Can you drive the car?
You want to do that one more time?
It's ironic that for a guy who seems so reluctant to have kids in the future, he seems very keen on treating his future wife as though she's a kid. And Bilal's lecturing is really beginning to impact on Shaeeda.
Can I drink it here?
Yeah, I'm not...
I don't want to make no spills.
Any room you want, you can drink coffee, you know?
You're so particular with your home. You have an OCD problem.
No, it's not.
I know, yes, you do.
OCD.
Yes, you do.
I think it says a lot that the poor lady feels more comfortable drinking her coffee over the kitchen sink than sat next to him. She's just so worried that he'll end up telling her off for doing something wrong.
Bilal tends to lecture me a lot. He seems to be like always lecturing me. I'm not looking for you to be my dad. I'm looking for you to be my supportive fiancé and speak to me like your fiancé.
The problem is, as we're fast learning, Bilal has a very long list of pet peeves. And in this episode, he makes it very clear just how important his Juma, or Friday Muslim worship, is to him.
I don't want to be late for Juma. I would tell you this out of everything, seriously.
Yeah.
That is like a pet peeve of me, like being late for Juma. So we want to make sure we're on Juma on time.
So after a quick seatbelt check, like you would do with a little kid,
seatbelt on?
Of course.
They set off for their Friday prayers. And boy, is it about to be an eventful trip. Now, the place where they're going to worship is the same place that Bilal's worshipped his whole life.
Shaeeda has met my children, my siblings, and even my mother. Today, she's going to meet my extended family because the community is a family to me.
It also happens to be the same place where his ex-wife worships. And so meeting everyone for the first time, meeting his ex-wife, the mother of his kids, makes Shaeeda a little bit nervous.
I know in life, you can expect everyone to like you, but this particular situation, I want everyone to like me.
Yeah, I get it.
Bilal tries to calm Shaeeda down by saying, I went through the same thing when I went to Trinidad. I had to meet your family too. But Shaeeda points out that scenario was rather different.
But you have to understand, you came as a visitor. I am coming here with the possibility of staying here forever and making my life with you.
You are?
These are the people who I will have to coexist with.
And from the way that Bilal's responding, she can't help but feel that he's downplaying her feelings. And that upsets her.
Bilal thinks I'm overreacting when I say I'm nervous to meet his ex. But I am literally shaken. I am nervous to meet his ex-wife. This is my feelings. I want you to respect it and say, okay, I understand. You're a bit nervous. It's your first time.
So with all of that in mind, knowing just how nervous Shaeeda is, and also knowing that she's questioning whether or not Bilal has her back and understands how she feels, it's probably not the best time for Bilal, yet again, to mess with her head and try to make a joke at her expense.
I would tell you one thing though, that you might want to do before you meet her. You just might want to get that booger out of your nose. It's green and brownish.
Oh, whatever.
When Shaeeda tells him off and then playfully slaps his head.
I'm getting sick and tired of you pranking me about this booger in my nose. I hate this type of joke.
Well, Bilal doesn't like that. He tells Shaeeda to keep her hands to herself. But keep in mind, seconds earlier, he was in a playful mood. And I don't think she realises just how serious Bilal is. And so she continues.
The environment I come from, we keep our hands to ourselves.
So I can't do this?
So what I'm gonna tell you is, stop. You gonna try to get a wreck?
Now, a few points here. Firstly, under no circumstances is it a good idea to start messing with someone while they're driving, particularly not putting your hand in front of their face. So to that extent, I do understand that Bilal's not happy with that. I get that. But the way that he interprets it as a sign of disrespect and the threat that he makes to kick her out of the car is way out of proportion, considering we can all see it was done as a joke. There was no malice in her actions.
Don't do that.
We hit.
That's disrespectful where I come from.
Give you elbows.
So keep your hands to yourself and watch your tone. Because I can literally pull over right now and you'll be taking an Uber for the rest of the ride home.
My point is, I feel like there's much better ways Bilal could have communicated how serious and unhappy he was at the situation, rather than immediately progressing to, you've disrespected me, do that again and I'll leave you on the side of the road. And sure, it certainly wasn't the best of jokes by Shaeeda, but Bilal's guilty of plenty of bad jokes himself, isn't he? I can see how this would leave Shaeeda feeling confused. She doesn't know how to react to Bilal's sudden change of mood. Perhaps she still thinks he's being slightly playful, which might be the reason why she decides to hit him again.
Yeah, but it's not
just
in
once.
a serious way.
Yeah.
Now
that's
I'm gonna give you a
disrespectful.
serious hit.
Yeah. About to get off right here.
No, I'm not getting off
Yeah.
right here.
It's only when Bilal pulls over that Shaeeda realises he's actually being serious.
It was not even a physical hit lash, it was a tap. It was a playful tap. But when he pulled over, that's when I realized the severity of it all. I am playing, he is angry, we are not on the same page here.
After a few moments, long enough for Bilal to be certain Shaeeda understands that he's not messing, he decides to resume their journey. Remember, he doesn't want to be late for his prayers. But at that point, he starts to interpret her actions as being violent, and he says she's lost points for this.
Are you a violent person?
I'm not a violent person, but I was just playing with you.
No, that wasn't a play.
God.
No, you lose a lot of points. I'm thinking you're actually a violent person.
This is very clearly gaslighting. We can all see that Shaeeda wasn't doing it in a violent way. Yes, it could have been dangerous, but it wasn't. So to now try and make out like he's worried that she's violent, oh please, come on. He's very much in a position of power here, and he's threatening to leave her in a foreign country on the side of the road. That, in my opinion, is taking it way too far.
Quiet right now, huh? It's all jokes until it get real serious.
I don't understand. I would think that he would have had a much lighter sense of humor when it comes to me giving him a little tap on the head. But apparently, he's not playful when it comes to him.
When Bilal later pulls over and gets out of the car to, it turns out, pick up his kids, the lack of communication and not telling Shaeeda where he's going leaves her completely confused and feeling alone and vulnerable.
Oh, he's gonna pick up his kids. See, Bilal is not communicating. He just got out of the car. He didn't say anything.
When Bilal's kids join them in the car, the atmosphere between them is still clearly very icy, and Shaeeda confesses,
I am not feeling very good right now. And this is not the mood for me to meet Bilal's community and also his ex-wife.
everything that happened in the car has also got Bilal questioning just how well he knows Shaeeda.
We've been away from each other for nearly 2 years, and I'm seeing that we don't know each other as well as we thought.
After their prayers are over, the iciness continues. In fact, Bilal appears not to introduce Shaeeda to any of the community that he was so keen for her to meet. This means Shaeeda is left all alone while Bilal walks around having conversations with everyone. What a great way to make her feel welcome and part of his important community, hey?
Assalamu alaikum.
Ajuma, I feel alone. He is greeting his relatives, his friends, and his community. And I'm by myself. I wanted Bilal to introduce me to people at the mosque, but I stood there just by myself.
And after keeping her waiting outside while he finishes off his conversations, eventually he joins her and finally introduces her to his ex-wife. And it's clear to see he's being extra careful not to mix up their names.
What's going on, sister girl? Assalamu alaikum. So, Shaeeda, this is Shaeeda. And Shaeeda, this is Shaeeda.
Nice to meet you.
Thankfully for Shaeeda, it's a very short conversation with a looming promise or threat to talk more in the future.
It was nice meeting you.
Same to you.
Inshallah, we'll talk.
Of course.
Down and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
that too.
And as they walk off to the car with the kids out of earshot, Bilal lets it be known that they need to sit down to have a conversation. That just leaves Shaeeda feeling like she's about to be lectured to again.
I am thinking it's the next lecture that he's going to give me. Since I've been here, he has been lecturing me right through. I feel as if I've stepped inside of Bilal's world. In terms of having a voice, I don't think I've had much of a voice.
Bilal then drops off Shaeeda back home and he doesn't return for 2 hours. Again, all alone, Shaeeda takes the opportunity to calm down with some yoga, then gets ready for date night. But when Bilal finally comes back home, he immediately makes it clear that he's not in the mood to go out.
I guess you're dressed up for, I know supposedly we're supposed to go out, have a date night. But really kind of don't feel like it, to be honest with you.
When he begins to explain his point of view, Bilal continues to gaslight and continues to claim that not only were her actions in the car disrespectful, but she was also being violent. Shaeeda does not agree with this, and she maintains that it wasn't done in a violent way.
You hit me pretty hard in the back of the head.
It was not pretty hard. How was my countenance? How was my face? How was my expressions? Was I angry? Or was I smiling? Was I looking for laughter?
And it soon becomes very clear that Bilal expects an apology. He doesn't see this as a joke. That leaves Shaeeda having to reflect upon how very different their sense of humour is, and how the rules seem to be very different for when he does a joke that's not funny versus when she does one that's not funny.
I realized definitely Bilal and my sense of humor, it's different. I feel like Bilal, he tends to get hurt so easily. He played a prank on me and I moved forward. It was not the best of pranks. And for him to not give me the same allowance, he's not willing to move on.
And realising that she's going to need to apologise in order for them to move on, Shaeeda acknowledges Bilal's feelings and promises this isn't something she'll ever do again.
It wasn't that serious, but I understand it's an offence to you and I will not do it again.
The day did not go the way that I hoped it would go.
I'm very, very sorry. And I will not do it again.
But at the same time, she also wants Bilal to understand that the way he then acted by ignoring her and leaving her feeling isolated amongst people that Bilal knew she was nervous to be around and very keen to make that good first impression, well, that wasn't cool either. That really hurt her.
But at the same time, when it occurred, I felt isolated. You ignored me. This is not my place. This is not my country.
Unfortunately, Bilal seems far less willing to apologise. In fact, he makes it all about himself, how he felt.
I mean, obviously I don't want you to cry, but it was pretty hurtful to me.
And so, poor Shaeeda is left with no apology, but rather she's lectured on why Bilal thinks he did the right thing.
And sometimes the best thing to do in a situation is to be silent. So it was best for me to think about it and be able to talk to you after the fact.
And in his interview with the crew, Bilal reveals that the thing that he had a problem with wasn't the play fighting, it was the fact that he asked her to do something and she didn't listen, which he saw as a sign of disrespect.
I play fight with the kids, so it's not about play fighting, like being playful and all that. That's one thing. But it's about, you know, hey, when somebody tells you like, all right, don't do that, then it's kind of like, don't, you know, you kind of disrespect me.
What are your thoughts on all of this? How do you feel about Bilal's behaviour? Do you agree that he's being controlling and there's lots of red flags here? Or maybe you see things differently? Let's continue the conversation down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, then you'll definitely want to check out the other videos I've got on screen now. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next video.